Hello, good morning children. Today we will read the remaining part of the chapter that we started in the previous class. Yes, the Vedic Age. Today we will discuss the religion, occupation, education, trade and recreational activities of the Aryans. So let's get started. Religion. The Aryans brought with them their own religion. They believed in one supreme power, that is, the creator of the universe. They used to worship different forces of nature as gods and goddesses. Varuna, the sky god, Indra, the rain god, Surya, the sun god, Vayu, the air god, Agni, the god of fire, and Prithvi, the earth, were some of the gods that they worshipped. So the Aryans had their own religion. They had no gurus or anyone to worship. They believed in one power, that is the creator of the universe. They worshipped the nature, the sky, rain, sun, air, fire, all these make universe. So they believed only the creator of the universe. So their gods were Prithvi, which means earth, Agni, god of fire, Vayu, god of wind, Indra, god of rain, Surya, the sun god, and Varun, the sky god. Alright, now let's see what were their occupation or what kind of they used to do or perform for their survival. So farming and cattle rearing were the main occupations of the Aryans. The Aryan families that owned many cows and horses were considered to be rich. They were good horse riders and charioteers. Other jobs such as carpentry, weaving and pottery were very popular. People made beautiful ornaments, tools and weapons with skill. They were also chariot makers and leather workers. People could choose any profession. But later, when the caste system became more strict, people had fixed jobs and could not change them easily. So their main occupations were farming and cattle rearing. They used to produce different crops and domesticate animals. These two were their main occupations. But beside farming and cattle rearing, they also did jobs like carpentry, weaving and pottery. People also made beautiful ornaments, tools and weapons. People were free to choose any profession, whatever they liked. But later, when the caste system became more strict, very rigid, people had to do the fixed job. They could not change them easily. For example, carpenter's son have to do carpentry. Son of a priest had to do pujas. So their jobs were fixed. Alright, now let's see the education system of the Aryans. The children of the Vedic age lived with their teachers or gurus in their home and helped them with the work of the household. This system of education was known as the Gurukul system. At first, girls and boys were taught the same lessons, but later girls were not allowed to learn the Vedas. Often, many families taught their children the skills and crafts that they knew. So, you see, the children of the Vedic age did not go to school because there were no schools at all, like we do have. You all go to school in the morning, you learn there, and then go to your respective houses. This is how you impart education, right? But the children of the Vedic age lived with their teachers known as gurus in their home, and they helped their gurus with the work of the household. This system of education was known as the Gurukul system. It was the primary education system in ancient India. In the Gurukul system of education, students went to the gurus' houses and requested them to teach. If Guru accepts the student as his Shishya, then the student stays at the Guru's place itself and Guru mentored them on all the activities. At first, both girls and boys, they were taught the same lessons. But later what happened? Girls were not allowed to learn the Vedas. Parents, they taught their children whatever they knew, whatever knowledge, whatever skills, crafts, educations they had, they taught their children. Alright, now let's see how they used to govern their state or their society. The people lived in tribes called janas. Each jana had its own ruler called Rajan. The kingship was passed down within the family from father to eldest son. The king was assisted by the Purohita, religious advisor, and the Senani, leader of the army. The king also took advice from the village headmen on all important matters. So the people, they lived in tribes, in a group called janas, and each jana, each group had its own ruler, a leader called Rajan. In case of the death of a king, his eldest son would become the next king. This was their rule. The king was helped only by Purohita, means the priest. The Senani means the leader of the army. The head of the army was called Senani. And the village headman, head of a village. Only Purohita, Senani and the head of the village were allowed to advise the king, to help or suggest the king on all important matters. The Aryans had a strong army. The king and Senanis rode in chariots. The soldiers marched on foot. The soldiers fought with swords, spears, battle axes, bows and arrows. So the Aryans, they had a very strong army. Only the king and Senanis. Senanis means the leader, the head of the army. Only the king and Senanis rode in chariots. This is chariots, okay, you can see here. And the person driving the chariot is called charioteers. Here you can see in the picture, this man is driving the chariot. He is the charioteer. And the soldiers had to march on foot. They fought with swords, spears, battle axes, bows and arrows during the war. Okay. Economy and trade. Trade means business, okay. Now let's see their method of business. The Aryans had no system of currency. Their cows and other cattle were used as barter for the things they needed. Trade was not very well developed. They exchanged goods mostly with people from nearby areas. Okay, now see, this is very interesting. During those times, the system of currency was not there. So then, how did they carry the business? They used the barter system. Now, what is the barter system? You know? It is the method of exchange. People exchanged services and goods for other services and goods in return. For example, a person will provide another person with some bread, and in exchange another person will provide butter. Again, a person will give some tomatoes and in return he gets some rice. So that's how they used to carry trade without currency. So the Aryans used their cows and other cattle as barter for the things they needed. And they used to exchange things mostly with the people from nearby areas. Alright, now recreation. Recreation means activity done for enjoyment or for fun when one is not working or free. Now let's see what the Aryans used to do during their free times. The Aryans were fond of riding and chariot racing. They went hunting and enjoyed art, music and dancing too. The instruments they played were the flute, drums and the lute. chess and other board games were popular forms of entertainment. So the Aryans, they very much liked riding and chariot racing. They also enjoyed music, art, dancing. They liked playing instruments like flute, drums and all. And apart from that, they played board games like chess. So these were the activities they used to perform for recreation, for refreshment. The Aryans slowly began to move further east and south into the valleys of the river Ganga and up to Bihar. They ruled over a vast land. Soon Aryavarta broke up into many small kingdoms whose kings were always fighting with one another to be the most powerful. Some of the important kingdoms were Mithila, Magadha and Panchala, about which you will be studying in a later chapter. So Aryavarta, you all know the regions or the areas the Aryans occupied were called Aryavarta. So slowly the Aryans, they extended their empire, they extended their region, but then soon it broke up into many small kingdoms because of the fight among themselves. They fought among themselves to be the most powerful. As a result, many small kingdoms arose. The names of some of these kingdoms were Mithila, Magadha and Panchala. You will learn about them in later chapters. Okay. So here we end the chapter. Now as usual, we have to do the exercises given in the book. That we will do in the next classes. You will read the chapter once again by yourselves. Okay. Alright. Thank you children for watching.